The Beaches podcast is going to give you everything you want to know about a beach before you go there. I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check out our website, www.sandee.com. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
All right, sunseekers and beach bums, it's time to ditch the daydreams and dive into planning your dream Spanish beach escape.
And you've come to the right place.
You've already got a treasure trove of research, which is awesome. But let's be real, sometimes even with a ton of info, it's hard to know where to even begin.
Absolutely. It's like having all the ingredients but no recipe.
Exactly. So consider this your crash course in turning that research into the ultimate Spanish beach itinerary. We're talking insider tips, hidden gems, and really making sure you have the best experience possible. And we're not just talking about any beaches, we're talking about Spain.
And let me tell you, Spain is truly a beach lover's paradise.
Okay, so let's get this party started. Speaking of parties, you mentioned festivals in your research. Let's put a pin in that for now, because while we want to touch on the incredible culture, our main focus today is the beaches themselves.
Good call, because there are so many to discover. What's so captivating about Spain is its sheer diversity when it comes to coastlines.
It's not just one beach repeated over and over again. We're talking dramatic cliffs, hidden coves.
Right, and don't forget those iconic stretches of golden sand.
And speaking of hidden gems, you actually highlighted one in your research that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Playa de Gupiyuri.
Oh, you're talking about the beach that's not on the beach.
Yeah, this is a beach that's technically inland. Something about the Cantabrian Sea carving its way under the cliffs.
Exactly. Creating this hidden saltwater pool. People go kayaking from the sea to get there. It's absolutely magical. And it speaks to how unique and surprising the Spanish coast can be.
So basically, prepare to be amazed. Now, I also noticed you highlighted the Islas, which are often compared to the Caribbean, for their white sand and turquoise waters.
Which is wild because they're in Galicia. Way up north along the Atlantic coast. It just goes to show you, Spain really does offer something for everyone.
I'm already hooked, and we're just getting started. So how about we get a little geographical here? Because we're throwing around names like Cantabrian and Galicia, and I think it's time for a little map check,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So picture this. Mainland Spain has this incredible coastline that hugs both the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, that makes sense. So on one side, you've got that classic Mediterranean vibe, and the other side, the wilder Atlantic.
You got it. And then to make things even more interesting, you have these incredible island chains off the coast.
Yeah.
The Balearic Islands in the Med, and of course the Canary Islands, which are actually geographically closer to Africa.
Which explains the year-round sunshine. So geographically speaking, Spain is killing it in the beach department. But I did notice something else interesting in your research, something about the best time to visit not actually being summer.
You're on top of it. You're absolutely right. A lot of people just default to summer for a beach vacation. Makes sense. But your research actually highlighted September, particularly along the Mediterranean, as a sweet spot.
Okay, so tell me more about the sweet spot. Why September?
Well, the weather is still incredible. The seas had all summer to warm up, so it's perfect for swimming. Plus, the crowds have thinned out a bit, so you can actually relax and enjoy those beaches.
So you get the beauty without the craziness. Now, this is where I get a little nervous, and maybe some of our listeners do too. It's one thing to plan a trip, but I always want to make sure I'm respecting local customs and traditions. So anything we should know about Spanish beach culture to, avoid sticking out.
You're definitely thinking the right way.
Yeah.
Blending in is just as important as finding the perfect beach. And one thing that might catch you off guard is just how social Spanish beaches are.
Oh, interesting. In what way?
Well, your source mentioned that setting up camp right next to strangers is totally normal. In fact, it's almost encouraged.
Wow, that's quite different from the keep your distance vibe you often find on beaches here. I love that. It's much more welcoming.
It's all about embracing that communal atmosphere, sharing food, conversation.
Soaking up the sun together. Love it. Okay, so we know what to embrace. Anything we should avoid doing on a Spanish beach?
This one's straight from your research, and it's a big one. Siesta time. Be prepared for shops and restaurants, especially in those smaller coastal towns, to close in the afternoon.
Siesta time. I've heard about this, but I guess I always thought it was a bit of a cliche.
It's not just a cute quirk, it's a deeply ingrained part of the culture. People take a break from the heat, spend time with family. It's about slowing down and savoring life. So, plan your meals and errands accordingly.
Respect the local rhythm. Love it. We've covered so much ground about Spanish beaches. If our listeners are feeling overwhelmed, what's one concrete step they can take to start narrowing down their options?
Well, since we started with that amazing inland beach, Playa de Gulpiyuri, I'd say dive a little deeper into Spain's northern coast.
I'm here for it.
It's a bit more under the radar than the south. With those dramatic cliffs and lush green landscapes, you'll find incredible food, a rich culture.
And maybe even your own secret beach.
Exactly. So there you have it. Spain truly has it all. But it's not a one-size-fits-all destination, and that's what makes it so special.
I'm ready to book my flight. So to wrap things up, the key takeaway here is do your research, figure out your vibe.
Because once you do, you'll find the perfect beach in Spain waiting for you. And here's a final thought to ponder as you plan your trip. Your research mentioned the tradition of chiringuitos, those charming little beach bars that embody the Spanish spirit. Imagine yourself sipping sangria as the sun sets over the Mediterranean.
Or maybe a refreshing tinto de verano.
Exactly. What will your perfect chiringuito experience look like?
And with that delicious thought, we'll leave you to daydream a little more. Happy planning, beach lovers. And until next time, adios.
Hasta pronto.
Thanks for listening to the show, and be sure to tune in next week for your favorite episode about some of the best beaches and beach information in the world.